Buenos Aires. The capital of Argentina is said to be the most European city in South America, with buildings that are reminiscent of bygone times. Here, melancholy, romance, and Latin flair are part of daily life, as well as a passion for steak, tango, and football. The mighty Plaza de Mayo is the historic heart of the city. The pink façade of the Casa Rosada shines brightly. It's the presidential palace. And on its balcony, Domingo Perón and his wife Evita once waved to their loyal subjects. The Cathedral Metropolitana was not the first church to be built on this site. In 1791, this classical building was constructed and has managed to survive right up to the present day. Containing the tomb of General José de San Martín, the cathedral has become a national monument. It is situated in the political center of the city. The Catholic religion has always been highly influential here, and until 1994, the president had to be of the Catholic faith. When this area first became settled, this large square was the center of a major settlement that was founded in 1580 by Juan de Garay under difficult circumstances. On the 25th of May 1810, a junta expelled the Spanish viceroy. And even today, the country's last military dictatorship is remembered with a degree of pain. The former Cabildo City Hall features the splendid architecture of colonial times, with white arcades and a central tower. It's the former seat of the city council. A welcome retreat in the hustle and bustle of the city centre is the famous Café Tortoni and its dramatic history. Until late into the night, this, the Paris of South America, shows off all of its captivating charm. The Plaza del Congreso completes the political ensemble of the city. The huge Congress building is the symbol of a democratic Argentina. The seat of Parliament was built according to neoclassical design and resembles the Capitol building in Washington, an imposing building of white marble. A monument for both Congresses, with a fountain and various statues, is located in the center of the square. The district of San Telmo is the old soul of the city, and the Iglesia de San Francisco is the most sacred ceremonial building in Buenos Aires. The restoration of both church and monastery complex that was destroyed by fire in 1966 does not follow convention, but within the buildings there's a strong sense of religious faith. There are many religious orders in this part of the city. Since 1580, goods have been transported along the Calle Defensa to the Plaza Mayor, in the early days by ox cart. In this lively part of the city, today musicians show off their skills, and food is sold. In former times, it served as a resting place for both man and beast. Each Sunday, there's a car boot sale here. In the tiny alleys and streets are several antique shops and art galleries. This, the city's most popular district, acts as a magnet for one and all. Here, the Buenos Aires of old is still very much alive. Market stalls and street dances attract the attention of passers-by, just like a typical European town. Again and again, dancing couples perform their sensuous tangos in the smallest of spaces, and they're always rewarded by much enthusiastic applause. An atmospheric adventure not to be missed. The high-tech Florales Generica tulip is the city's most recent landmark. This stainless steel flower is 20 meters tall and opens and closes its petals according to the time of day. Close by, a memorial on the Plaza Domingo Perón serves as a reminder of the famous Angel of the Poor. She was much loved by those of the humblest means. The La Boca district is the old harbour area and lies at the mouth of the Riachuelo in the Rio de la Plata. The bright colours of the painted buildings are a joy to see. Where today dances are performed on every street corner, in the 19th century immigrants from both Italy and Spain settled here. This explains the fiery temperament and deep melancholy that is expressed by the dancers and is evident with each flick of the leg. Everywhere, traders have erected stalls, and tango musicians, pantomime artists, ice cream sellers, and various artisans hope for a profitable day. People sit and take in the marvelous atmosphere. In what was once the red light district, with its whorehouses of colourful corrugated iron taken from numerous shipwrecks, the tango was born. It was from here that the erotic and melancholic dance began its triumphant journey around the world. Whether young or old, everyone here needs the tango just as much as the air they breathe. In Argentina, and particularly Buenos Aires, the tango is both an expression of passion as well as a dramatic performance. Each dance tells a story, with much emotion and artistic interpretation. The former harbour district, with its tangled alleys and colourful buildings, is the original heart of the city. A steel bridge and various shipwrecks in the old harbour still create a feeling of nostalgia. The comfortable train journey from the city's Retiro station to the 30-kilometre distant Rio Piranha Delta takes less than an hour. From the Bartolomé Mitre station, the Tren de la Costa travels to Tigre. Opposite the terminus, boats are available to take travellers to one of the region's most beautiful destinations. The Delta is a 2,600 square kilometre group of green islands, crossed by numerous rivers and canals. Subtropical trees and plants grow here to make the Delta a natural paradise that is situated outside the city gates. A swampy world of fascinating islands. Along the shoreline, the wealthy have their summer residences, and in between there are various hotels and summer houses. Boats travel along the canals. Tigre's big wheel becomes visible. Passengers disembark from the boats in the center of town. This pleasant town is often referred to as the Venetian suburb because around it everyone travels by boat. Traders also use it extensively. The inhabitants of Buenos Aires like to visit this tranquil leisure area close to their fine metropolis. But more and more people are moving here. President Bartolomé Mitre surveys the town, and palm trees and fountains make it even more attractive, far removed from the pampas. From Tigre Harbour, boats travel to the Isla Martin Garcia, that is only 3.5 kilometers from the Uruguayan mainland. The canals are located around 37 kilometers from the Argentinian mainland. The wetlands are constantly changing. The Batteria Cuartel Military Museum is a reminder of a sad chapter of recent history. This remote island was once a meeting place for the political opponents of the military dictatorship that was in power until 1983. From 1955, the military attempted to take power, often with ruthless brutality. This Argentinian island was where the first Europeans set foot in 1516, although Uruguay also lays claim to this historic event. Dense vegetation grows around the military memorial. 200 bird species live here. The marsh deer are threatened by extinction, and there are iguanas. Today it is nature that pervades the scene. This small cemetery is a symbol of conciliation, a tranquil memorial to what has been. A peace that shall never be disturbed, an eternal place of sanctuary. But now, back into the busy heart of the metropolis with its frenetic traffic and the temperamental joie de vivre of its inhabitants. We visit the Palermo district that is situated close to the city centre. This is where most of the parks are located, and also the zoological gardens with their very strong smell. The German zoologist Karl Hagenbeck introduced the garden's first bestiarium from Hamburg, a marvelous wildlife habitat. In those days, a tiger cost less than a Castilian donkey. Do the local llamas know that? They seem to be very curious. The Botanical Garden is also situated in Palermo Park and was created between 1889 and 1898 by Carlos Teix. The garden architect planted around 5,000 different kinds of bushes and trees and had a number of glasshouses built. Well-laid paths lead across the park that is full of exotic plant life. The blossoms are wonderful, and it's an ideal place in which to relax. Marble and bronze statues flank the pathways and are sometimes hidden between magnolias and palms. The Monumento de los Españoles was gifted from Spain for the centennial anniversary of independence, a symbol of Argentina's many regions. The Japanese garden is one of the most popular natural oases in Buenos Aires. Created by Japanese garden architects according to strict tradition. Almost every metropolis in the world has such a garden. It is a botanical symbol of peace between the nations. The Museo José Hernández contains artifacts and literature of Gaucho life and is one of more than 70 museums in this city of culture. Clothing and arts and crafts are exhibited in glass boxes. The exhibits date back to the earliest inhabitants of the La Plata area. Another excursion travels to a traditional attraction. An Estancia, a feudal residence of the beef barons who once settled on the endless plains of the Pampas. They built their farmhouses according to the rustic designs of the nobility. It was the job of the gauchos to travel the land on horseback to see to the welfare of both cattle and sheep. It was not unusual for one estancia to own several thousand sheep, cattle, and horses. There was always enough space here. The aristocratic way of life on the cattle farms had its own culture and dances, and its music adapted to the loneliness and vastness of the Pampas. Queto, Zamba, Escondio, and Xotis developed into authentic art forms. When visiting an estancia, a gaucho show is a must. Cowboys live with their horses, a fact made obvious by way of acrobatic performances. The life of the gauchos has always been hard. They often have to remain with their herds for many days and sleep under the stars. Due to the declining values of both meat and wool, the region's farmers have sought an alternative source of income: tourism. Cattle and sheep breeding made Argentina prosper, and Buenos Aires became one of the wealthiest cities in South America. Next we visit the Recoleta district, both past and present living quarters of the middle and upper classes. Here the elite once lived, worshipped, and were laid to rest. The Basilica de la Pila is one of the city's 18th century colonial buildings with a bell tower and façade that is wainscoted with tiles. It has a modest interior. Next to the basilica is the Recoleta Cemetery, a city of the death. Here, generations of Argentina's upper classes were buried. Burial is infrequent in Argentina and only permitted for 5 years. So the dead are entombed in monumental bóvedas. 7,000 mausoleums cover 4 hectares of land. This is the last place of rest for patriarchs, presidents, poets, and even Evita. She is entombed in the Duarte's family grave beneath shining black marble, with the world-famous inscription, "Don't cry for me, Argentina." Around 70 of the tombs have been designated as national monuments, unique memorials to the temporary nature of life and the permanence of eternity. An historic labyrinth in narrow confines where it's extremely difficult to find a particular grave from among the many others. Back to vibrant city life. The Galleria Pacifico is the city's most unique shopping center. An artistically decorated building with numerous boutiques, it was once an art museum. The Plaza Laval was enlarged in 1937 in order to create a suitable space for the Teatro Colón and the Palace of Justice. The Fountain of Female Dancers is a memorial for the city's world-famous opera house. Buenos Aires lies on the banks of the widest river on earth, the Rio de la Plata. 45 kilometers separates one bank from the other. Each day, fishermen take over the promenade, and there are many food stalls for those wanting a tasty snack. Puerto Madero is the name of the former dock area. The once shabby harbour has now become a popular attraction, and 2 excellent museum ships lie at anchor and are open to the public. The Sarmiento frigate was the flagship of the Argentinian Navy at the beginning of the 20th century, and its officers had a fine sense of dress. On board, attention to detail is considered to be essential. The second museum ship is the smaller armoured corvette, the Uruguay, that became famous in 1903 due to a special event. This modest-looking ship rescued the crew of the failed Nordenskjöld expedition to Antarctica from certain death. Puerto Madero, with its skyline of glass and steel, awaits the arrival of evening. It is then that the city reawakes. It vibrates, dances, and enjoys. A city of many faces whose splendid avenue symbolizes the unshakable independence of its inhabitants. Tango, the true pulse of the city, erotic, melancholic, and full of life, a dramatic adventure. But beware. When night falls, this Buenos Aires diva turns into a city fatale. Mysterious, dark and full of burning desire, an extraordinary metropolis of the superlative.